Story 1. Not too shabby. I developed epilepsy a few years ago, unexpectedly, but after 2 years, I believe I am finally on the right combination of medications that help me avoid seizures. As long as I can get the 10 hours of sleep needed to prevent fatigue side effects, I am doing well. Story 2. I want to say thank you to all the men out there. You deserve so much more for the sacrifices you make to keep us safe. Story 3. Burnt out. Tired. Angry because I am sick of my current job, but I have applied to more than 30 different jobs and not a single one has called back. I feel like I have been backed into a corner. I am also just tired of my life situation in general, and unfortunately, there is nothing I can really do to change that due to the nature of the situation and my responsibilities. I also really want some garlic bread or some chocolate, but I cannot have either. Story 4. I have my good and bad days, but right now, today, I am both nervous and excited because I am about to fulfill a bucket list item by going to Greece this next Monday. I am taking a cruise that goes through several islands and even goes to Istanbul, Turkey. I have always wanted to go to Greece because there is so much history there, and I have always been fascinated with Greek mythology. Seeing the places in person where all these legends were born makes me really excited. Story 5. Every day, I want to put a bullet in my brain, but I am stuck chasing that carrot with diminishing hope that things will get better. My faith in humanity is lower than I ever thought possible. How are you? Story 6. Thank you for asking. Reddit user. I am very well, thank you. I am hopeful I can get some summer work while the children are on holiday and quietly confident. God has got me. Story 7. I've been struggling to find a purpose or reason to get up in the morning until a kitten ended up inside one of the car's engine bays at work, and I took the little guy home. He has been in my restroom for the past week with ringworm, but he is the cutest, most playful, and sweetest cat. His name is Mace, and he is making my life stressful, but he has given me a reason to keep going and push myself to get up. Story 8. Outstanding. Married to an amazing woman for 35 years. Have 3 children who all have jobs, healthcare, places to live, and still like dropping in on their parents to say hello. We have plenty of friends and outside interests. I am pretty healthy for age 62, exercise 5 times a week, have a full head of hair, and very few gray hairs. It looks like I can retire in 2 years and a little over a month with enough savings in the retirement fund. Fingers crossed. I have a well-paying job that I enjoy, one where my supervisor leaves me alone and people half my age do not treat me like an old person. Now, 22 years ago, that picture was completely different. We were barely scraping by financially and our lives were uncertain. So what I am saying is this. If your life is difficult right now, keep going. Take those small, incremental steps in your job, your financial life, and your personal life that allow you to see minor improvement month after month. Yes, it will be hard. But over time, those little things have a way of snowballing into a much happier life. Trust me on this. Story 9. Better than most. My wife and children are healthy and happy. Money is no issue. My career and small business are amazing and very profitable. I have 0 personal debt. Life is so good right now. Story 10. I am all right. I have social anxiety, low self-esteem, and low self-confidence. I have not been trying very hard to get myself any help. Story 11. I'm doing well. Getting my debt under control. I'm happy and healthy. The doctor says I need to eat more vegetables. Story 12. Every beer I have on my time off work makes me feel better. All in all, I am in a good spot financially, but mentally I tend to lean towards the negative. From an outside perspective, I appear joyful and content. I am getting better at expressing my true emotions, but I am just looking for someone to join me in life. My work schedule makes it tough, but I think I will figure it out. Truly, I am more hopeful than I have been in years. Story 13. Going through a divorce and have started seeing someone I genuinely like more than I ever liked my wife. Feels good, but I am also questioning my own judgment. Story 14. Surviving. Angry at the people who voted for the individual that is causing harm to our great country. Story 15. Healthy, but only after addressing every piece of trauma from my life through therapy and a spiritual awakening. A year ago, I would have said, I'm good. while holding a gun to my head. But honestly, I am finally mentally healthy and happy. Story 16 Meh. I'm glad to be lying next to my beautiful girlfriend but struggling mentally with lack of sleep and motivation. Honestly, I hate having to wake up early 6 days a week and go to work. I wish I could enjoy my time more and stop overthinking so much. Story 17. Feeling stupid, anxious, worried, stressed, depressed, lonely, with suicidal thoughts. Yes, I am fine. Story 18. Not good. So tired I can't sleep. When I do, it's not restful. Money problems, 2 jobs, and all the money goes on bills and food. I'm existing solely for others, my boss and the tax authorities. I don't think I would know what to do if I had time to stop. The thought of trying to date is so foreign to me, but I would love a hug. Story 19. I am barely holding on. My wife is not happy. My parents are not happy. My job is difficult. Our dog needs surgery or he will lose his hearing. I am working very long days. I have made many irreparable mistakes in life. Every moment I exist, some form of hard work is expected from me. My only wish is to feel and do absolutely nothing. I have considered withdrawing some cash and simply running away from the world for a week or two, but no one in my life would understand. Story 20. I am going blind from a head injury 3 years ago caused by a work-related incident, where the employer willingly withheld information and fired me as soon as they could. They did not face any consequences, but I have permanent side effects from a moderate brain injury and now have minor central vision blindness, which could become moderate by the time I can get surgery. This is something the hospital might have caught if they had actually scanned me when I stumbled in, but they refused treatment, citing a COVID-19 outbreak. No disability claim I have tried has ever been approved. So I am doing rather poorly, honestly. I am not even 30 and feel like my life has been completely ruined by a traumatic work-related brain injury, and everyone I have dealt with regarding the situation has been dismissive and ignorant. I was not given any retraining, just minimal physical rehabilitation, and was forced to restart at minimum wage. I have lost over $10 an hour in comparison. I never thought dealing with work-related injury issues that could worsen over time in Canada would be so difficult and abrasive. Story 21. I'm feeling pretty depressed, honestly. I woke up with an erection, and ever since I've been tired and my body hurts. I am also feeling a bit depressed and drained. I'm not sure what I want to do, but sitting here scrolling isn't helping. Story 22. I am not sure. I have not been paying attention. I am mostly focused on watching harmful leadership damage the world. Story 23. I had 2 older sisters when I was born. They were only 2 at the time. We were separated into adopted households. They stayed together, but I was on my own. Growing up as an only adopted child was hard. I only knew their first names. No pictures or last names made it impossible to find them. I am now 22. I graduated college last year. I have a good-paying job that I enjoy, a nice spacious apartment, and friends who enjoy spending time with me. One of my birth sisters reached out to me yesterday. We are going to FaceTime tomorrow, and I am so excited to finally have blood family. My peers desire money, power, and wealth. I just want to build a loving family. This is step 1. Story 24. I had a mental breakdown and can no longer do my job. If I even look at a code editor icon, I get a panic attack with heavy breathing, increased heart rate, and I feel cold. Now I am unemployed, living on savings, and hoping that I will get better. Story 25. Doing okay. Could be better, and it could be worse. I have spent, and am still spending, a bunch of money on something to try to make life more entertaining. While it has its upsides, the cost is a significant downside that worries me and keeps me up at night, metaphorically. I also know that things could be much worse, and that sometimes worries me as well. These are things that are within my control, but also things I have no control over, like current events. Sigh. Oh well, nothing is ever perfect. Story 26. I'm good, thanks. The relationship is awesome, and my health is stable. I am off to see one of my favorite metal bands with my wife this weekend. It is a birthday treat from her. Story 27. To be honest, I am doing great. I am not rich, but I am not poor. Life has been good so far, and it seems to be staying that way. I am 65 and retired. Story 28. Currently, I am so overwhelmed with work stress that I have pushed everything down so deep that a rock has more emotions than I do. Thank you for asking. Story 29. If I don't stop to think about it, I can pretend I haven't wasted my youth so far. Am not unemployed in a new country, having lived here for a year still with no social circle of my own, and my legs feel fine and do not vibrate after minor exertion. Story 30. Tired of being asked this question. I am moving from day to day as I always have. I do not want to get all wrapped up in plans for the future. I will deal with it when I get there. Story 31. I honestly wish people asked men this question even more because they go through a lot just to make those around them happy. Story 32. In the last couple of years, I went through a divorce due to an abusive marriage, and recently, I have just completed the final court cases. I am feeling much better than I did during the marriage. Story 33. My children are just starting to emerge from adolescence into being reasonable, considerate people again. After a very long 15 years, I am finally on the road to being fairly happy again. Story 34. The school year ended on Wednesday, which is nice, but the past month has been difficult. Things between me and my crush are pretty much over. I also had a chance to go fishing yesterday for the first time in 19 days, but of course the weather forecast was wrong and it poured heavily, so now I have to wait a few more days to go. Story 35. I made a mistake and now live my life feeling like I am on borrowed time with someone. I love them dearly and am deeply sorry for what I did, but I don't know if that is enough. I take full responsibility for my actions. It was my mistake and something I would never consider again, but I still don't know if that's enough. I know deep down that moment in my life was not truly who I am, and I am ashamed and disgusted with myself. Half the battle is forgiving yourself, and I am not sure I can ever do that. Story 36. Feeling lonely and frustrated from the social expectations placed on men to keep working and pushing all the time, and finding it really hard to get any affection without being seen as inappropriate, is completely exhausting. I fundamentally think women are acting reasonably to be cautious around men, but gender roles are really problematic. I see gender roles as the root cause of many men behaving badly, as most men do not understand or respect consent. I am not a gender abolitionist. I think gender is real rather than just a social construct, although gender roles should not really exist. I must admit that I almost feel like I would benefit from abolishing gender roles. The only things patriarchy offers me are being at the top of the gender hierarchy, which I dislike, or easy access to sex, but I am literally sex-averse and asexual. Story 37. No, let's not go there. Everything you say or do will be used against you. I will not take part in this. My demons are mine and not to share. Story 38. Not good right now. Dealing with a breakup since February, and it has been tough, but I will eventually get through it. Please do not send messages saying you care. I am okay when it comes to that, no worries. Story 39. Living a life of quiet desperation can be challenging. When you reach 60 years or older, it seems you are either really satisfied with how things have turned out or feeling desperate. Story 40. I work 2 jobs by choice. I generally get 2 days off a month. On those 2 days, I plan what I am going to repair on the house I recently bought. I cannot get into big repairs with 2 days, but whatever I can do, I do rather than pay someone. I had the roof done last July after the divorce. This was a rental home my ex and I bought during the housing crash in 2007. It has been a rental all this time. When the divorce happened, I moved here, bought her out of the property, and started remodeling. It has been over a year and a half. I have fixed 70% of the place. It is down to the kitchen, bathrooms, and a repipe of the entire house. It has kept me busy. Story 41. Waiting in the waiting room to see the surgeon. It is clearly written on 4 signs that the waiting time to see the doctor is unknown. However, they ask not once, not twice, but 3 times, and they ask the most unreasonable questions that the secretary cannot answer. Then they get mad at her. I am feeling irritated. Story 42. Sweaty. Bored. Anxious because I hate it when the next steps depend on other people, but that's life. Dating-wise, I have only just started. but it's already very frustrating. I am not made for this. I am good at being single and good at being in a relationship, but the steps in between, no, that's terrible. Story 43, miserable but putting up a front. I am in a relationship that is causing me immense emotional distress, giving me literal chest pain, and I cannot get out of it. Story 44, not great. I feel bad about myself and my accomplishments, or rather the lack thereof. My life dream is to make a family and be a good father. I'm nowhere close to achieving this while approaching my 30s. My family is mostly broken through generational hate, depression, and suicide attempts on my mother's side. I don't like my job, which makes me dislike people and become more and more introverted as time goes by. However, I earn just enough to live without being in debt, and I own a very small apartment. I'm not very handsome, but I'm not ugly at all. I have my flaws, but none big. Enough to be a red flag, according to people around me, including women. I have passions, interests, a social life, and a sense of humor. Yet it seems impossible to find a good woman, as if I lack something important. I have only had short relationships. I'm not looking for a top model because I'm not one myself. Just a fine-looking woman who takes care of herself and is cool. Everyone is either already engaged, a red flag, who is out of a 6-year relationship, but of course it's always their ex who is toxic. Others have impossible standards. And nowadays as men, many of us are scared to talk to a girl outside the godforsaken places that are dating applications. The actual good women are probably also not on these applications and wonder where the normal, average, good men are. I'm a little tired, but I also have great friends I've known for more than a decade, and we're still the best of friends. I'm looking forward to a few good moments to come. I'm going to Prague with a good portion of the friend group, and I'm also traveling later this year with the good side of my family. I have hopes for the future, just less and less. The 20s and 30s are supposed to be the prime of my life, yet I don't know or have any control over things, and I don't know if I will reach any level of true happiness. I'm just telling myself that it's too soon to be a complete doomer, but we all have a clock over our heads. Anyway, I just used this post to vent and confess a very private state of existential crisis. I hope you all are okay or will be soon. Story 45. Doing pretty great. Learning how to be a dad. For months in and going strong. Little guy is my best buddy. Story 46. I was quietly miserable for the past 4 years. Just counting workdays until the weekend, only to do little with it. I felt like a fraud as I tried to convince myself and those around me that I was fine. I have been retraining this year to find a new career path. Only 28, so I have time to change direction. I am quite optimistic now, which feels like a positive change. Story 47. Depressed. Getting sober from alcohol. Currently in outpatient rehabilitation. Hit 100 days on Father's Day, but I have a hard time feeling any pride. I can't find a job that will pay enough to cover childcare costs. My wife works and her job has great prospects, but not until the long term. For now, it covers rent and a little extra, but it's not really enough. I worked in very specialized information technology for most of 2 decades, and now I'm donating plasma to buy milk and bread, because my experience isn't worth anything, and my age means nobody wants to give me an entry-level position. What money doesn't go to keeping the lights on is for making sure the kids, especially their bellies, never know how difficult our situation is. Meanwhile, I've lost 25 pounds in 2 months. Can't get benefits because my youngest can't get a social security number due to being born outside the country. The paperwork is expensive and requires a physical trip back to his birth country. When it comes to the benefits that would make a day-to-day difference, temporary assistance for needy families and the supplemental nutrition assistance program, they won't approve any of us because of his presence. Can't even get reduced benefits as if he wasn't on the application. I guess this is to make sure no undocumented immigrant ever gets government benefits, even if shared through someone else's application. My wife and I fight too much. I feel utterly rudderless and broken, but the kids need me now and then, so I stumble from day to day, hoping things will get better. Story 48. Honestly, I should be doing great. Wife, kids, house, great job, just finished my graduate degree, but I'm in a rut and not sure how to get out of it. My marriage is stale. There's no excitement anymore, no passion. We used to talk, laugh, flirt, and make love depending on the mood. Our sex life was great, but the intimacy and passion were better. She craved me. We still talk now, but the conversations are all the same. We laugh occasionally and flirt even less. The intimacy and passion are pretty much gone, and our sex life went with it. If we have sex twice a month, I'm ecstatic. I'm doing my best and still trying, still making an effort. I put on a happy face for the kids, friends, and family, but I just don't have that spark inside anymore. If this were the movie click, I would be in autopilot. I just want to feel wanted, lusted after even. 35 years old, this should be some of the best sex we have. I know you're thinking, best sex at 35? The best sex is in your 20s when you're young and wild and your body is at its peak. If that's your opinion, you haven't made it to soulmate sex yet. She knows what I like. I know what she likes. Sensual yet passionate. Laughing during and holding each other after. Sex. It's the best. And I miss it every day. Story 49. Huh? I am currently waiting to get off a plane and excited to get home and see my children. Or is this a more meta question? Story 50. I am seriously mentally ill and dangerously suicidal. I do not have health insurance because I cannot afford it. I have no access to professional or any other kind of help. Story 51. Bogged down with responsibility. Super worth it. But some days I just want to be left alone for 20 minutes without hearing about anything. Okay? Story 52. Yesterday, I exercised for the first time in 5 years. It was a horrible experience. My body felt terrible the entire time, and I disliked myself throughout the ordeal for making such a trivial activity into a big deal. It felt good afterward, though. It will be a long road, and I will always regret letting it get this far, but at least I have started. I just have to accept that I need to take small steps to improve myself. Story 53. Staggering about with my limbs going in all different directions like a zombie from The Walking Dead. Parkinson's disease seems to be advancing. I have had better times. Story 54. Upset. Confused. Mourning a future I have lost and wondering why. Understanding why people return to abusive relationships and knowing that I will never give in to that. Scared that I will never be with someone again and will die alone. Ran my arm under very hot water earlier to get a minor scald that would not leave a mark. Now sitting in traffic, baking in the sun with a worsening headache. Wishing I were someone else or that I just were not here at all. Story 55. I ran out of money and do not have a job. My spouse is in a different country, and I cannot go there yet due to visa paperwork. I have to wait for residency approval, which might take 1 to 12 months, so the waiting is very stressful. I am staying with my grandmother. I am 32 years old, and do not speak to my father or uncles, even though we live in the same small town. I try not to run into them. I cannot find joy in anything, and the smallest dopamine triggers are extremely addictive because I have no energy or hope left. In summary, I am doing all right compared to other men. Story 56. The biggest issue is that I am not working and falling further behind in life. Once I become gainfully employed again, I will feel better. Story 57. Currently in the worst period of my life. Honestly, I am not sure. Scared, unsure, sad, angry at myself. I have never fought this hard to stay alive. For your information, no one got hurt because of me. This is all me. It has been a tough 3 years. Hoping I can end it soon. Story 58. Stuck in the Middle East trying to flee war for the first time in my life. I have been better, but I am terrified for my life. Story 59. Ups and downs. It is difficult to keep going some days, and I get bursts of energy on others. My job as a teacher is very stressful, and I do not really enjoy it. My family is stressful, but I love every bit of them. My finances are stressful and a seemingly insurmountable problem. My uncle is dying, and I am upset about that. My dad is holding up well, but cracks are showing, and I am not sure how to support him. We live 4 hours away, and it costs £70 round trip to visit, so I cannot just stop by. My brother and his partner had a baby several months ago, whom I have still not met because of distance and travel costs. We are going down at the end of July, but it still does not feel right not seeing their child yet. I will not go into anything else, but it is just a lot. I am doing okay, just have a lot on my plate. Story 60. I want to say okay, but how would you feel if dad was in the hospital with dementia and hallucinations of being in the war after a terrible fall, knowing that you will have to put him in a retirement home? Story 61. Anything I write here will probably be data mined and used to further refine my online persona fingerprint, which will let Reddit and their partners improve targeted advertising to keep me from being too satisfied with my life without buying their products. Anything I actually like is probably just because I have been influenced into thinking this or that product or company is doing something good. I am foolish for liking what I like, naive for being optimistic, and wrong for having values or a sense of justice. Story 62. Struggling. I lost my job last June. I have run out of money to pay rent. My bag is packed with essentials, ready to be kicked out at the end of the month. My girlfriend already left. My family does not know yet. It is tough. Story 63. Meh. On paper, things are great. I am 55. My child is grown and has moved out. I am still married after 25 years. I am still employed and like what I do. But my wife and I are more like roommates who mostly get along. I am definitely not close with the people at work anymore. I am now hanging on in desperation until I retire because I am very tired. I am starting to not care about many things. Story 64. This constant war zone in my head has become my second home. I guess negatively positive? Like, my inner voice keeps calling me trash, but let me prove him wrong. Keep saying I am never enough, but I am. It is a never-ending World Wrestling Federation match that has made me stronger and resilient. Story 65. I will let you know when I figure it out myself, but do not hold your breath because I put all emotions on hold a long time ago. I just push everything except what I am doing out of my head and do not think about it. Story 66. Pretty good. In a year or two, I will finally have enough passive income to easily afford to quit being a wage slave. Story 67. It is fine as long as I remember not to try to be happy. I must do the things that make others happy, and then things are fine. If I ever try to change things so they are how I want them, or even appreciate things the way they are, it all gets messed up. Never be happy. This is my rule. Story 68. This past year was full of terrible events. Suicide, job loss, family issues, a breakup, and an accident. I got through all of that somehow. Things started getting better, and I met a beautiful new woman. It turns out she was made of the most pure evil on this planet. At this point, I am just hoping that all the bad experiences are behind me and that something good is around the corner. Story 69. Fewer and fewer people care as you get older. I think it genuinely terrifies me that eventually no one will reach out despite my efforts. Male culture needs to change. Story 70. Horrible as it is, depression, suicidal thoughts, feeling like a failure, and self-negativity can have a serious impact on you. Story 71. I am normally a pretty calm person. The administration of Donald Trump has made me quite anxious about the future. Story 72. No one truly cares, online or offline. Online concern is as disingenuous as it gets. Why bother opening up? Story 73. I feel like I need to do something drastic like join the military to get myself back on track to healthy living. Story 74. Single, depressed, huge headache. The kids are going back to stay with their mother and grandmother, as we are divorced, for the first time. These next 4 weeks will be the longest stretch of time I have not had children to take care of since I first had my daughter 6 years ago. I truly do not know what to do with myself right now. Story 75. I come across as happy and indifferent. However, anyone who truly knows me understands that I am in a difficult place. I am uncertain about where my life is heading, and I keep sinking deeper into my thoughts and feelings. Story 76. Not terrible but not great. It feels stagnant and slowly declining in a way that is barely noticeable. I am not sure what to do in life anymore and feel stuck. Story 77. Great, if I am going to be honest. Like most men, I went through the nobody cares about me phase, but I started to care about myself, setting boundaries and doing my own thing. In the past 2 years, I changed jobs, started looking after myself, got my finances in order, got my driver's license at 35 years old, of course a car, and in all that time I did not bother much with women. Working on yourself and having peace of mind is the most blissful thing. Story 78. I have plenty of friends, an amazing girlfriend, money, and a great job. Yet I hate myself, and I do not deserve any of those things because I am a terrible person. Story 79. I am tired but not in a bad way. My face hurts because I broke my nose with a dog toy on Tuesday. I am in a good place and am happy. Story 80. My grandfather passed away just a couple of days ago. The holidays were very difficult. I am feeling depressed and lonely, and final exams are next week on Monday. I am struggling to cope with everything right now. Story 81. Lost the reason to live and looking for a new reason. Hope I can live for myself rather than external things. Story 82. Wife said she jokingly told her trainer he should pregame with her in her car after he said he would not teach a Zumba class unless he was drunk. Is divorce too strong a reaction to that? Story 83. I think I am doing pretty well. I am a few days away from graduating and have just completed my high school final exams. I am about to start university in a few months. I will definitely miss hanging out with my friends every day. Story 84. To be honest, I feel like I made mistakes many years ago. Only now do I understand the outcome of my choices from 15 years ago. For instance, not going to university. There was once a lady who really liked me, and I lost that chance too. Let's not even talk about my addictive behavior. The only good things are that I stopped smoking and drinking. My bills are almost all paid, and I rent an amazing apartment. I feel kind of lonely. For the record, I am 37 years old. Story 85. Honest to God, I need to cuddle with someone. I am so touch-starved that I would settle for a hug. I really need some human connection. Story 86. Scorched earth about 6 months ago. Finally probing and taking accountability in every way my life has skewed unfavorably. I am doing better than ever before, but patching up holes in the ship from the last 7 years. Finally not neglecting what demands attention. Graduated school, on track to buy my first home. Kind of lonely, but have been rekindling with friends and living a healthy lifestyle. I think things are finally looking up. Story 87. Besides my finances being the way they have been, I am great and very blessed. I am improving my financial situation, so there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Story 88. Pretty bad. My very independent girlfriend broke up with me because she needed space to get her headspace back together. She is a police officer with a really busy and stressful life. She has never been in a relationship before, and it has been a lot for her. She says if she were to be with anyone, she would want to be with me, but she has too much to work on with a therapist right now. Sounds cliché, but I know it is true. It really sucks hoping she comes back one day. We both seriously considered a future together. Story 89. I do not want to talk about it. Edit. That is irony, by the way. I meant to mirror the typical inward-focused man who denies needing help. After reading all of these wonderful, heartfelt, honest answers, I wanted to clarify. Story 90. I got approval to work some overtime this weekend to help a project get ahead. I have no plans, so it is a win-win. I will have extra money in a week or two to put towards my vacation, and less work to do next week. Story 91. In almost all cases, pretty good. I have a good support network, hobbies, and friends of both genders, as well as a good career. However, I feel a little lonely when it comes to finding the right partner. I am turning 31 and feeling fear of missing out about my next life stage, like becoming a father, since I am about the same age my father was when he had me. Since I am single, having children is not even on the horizon, and that makes me a little sad. As I get older, wanting a family is becoming more and more of a priority. Story 92. Pretty bad, but I manage somehow. I have managed for 42 years now, and I will manage for another 42 years, give or take. Story 93. Let me put it this way. I was thinking of flipping a coin. Tails, I give life another week. Heads, I blow my brains out. Story 94. Literally awful. I have been extremely depressed since January. I have been heavily debating suicide. I am bipolar 1 and newly diagnosed. Story 95. Awful. I am trying everything I can to make my wife stay with me. After 5 years together, she wants to be single so she can enjoy all the things she never had. I am destroyed because she is the love of my life. She was my first everything, and I do not know how to live without her. Story 96. Yay! Finally someone asked. For the first time in several years, I have some hope for my future. Group therapy has changed something in me and made me start doing things that were long overdue in my life. I am trying to make meaningful connections with other people. It works mildly well for now, but it is nevertheless much more in quantity and quality than what I used to have. I am trying to pursue a hobby that is not connected to my job, and I like it so far. Life finally seems to have a different taste than just bitterness. Story 97. Recently moved out, late bloomer, 30 years old. Single dad to a little one. Family never asks how I am. Barely see my one friend. I miss my son every second I am not with him. I have holiday time with my son starting today. Also, as I can see, this post has little to no upvotes. I can only come to the point that no one cares about me. Story 98. My mother just passed away 2 weeks ago. I am trying to make changes in my life now by going out more, eating better, and working out. This experience has helped me refocus on my life. Story 99. My wife of 16 years died on Mother's Day at 38 years old. I am 41. Every day is either okay or a nightmare. I am lucky to have her sister in my life every day, though, as that keeps me from wanting to walk off a bridge. We are currently camping and having a good time. My friends are amazing, and I thought camping would be unpleasant. We bought a brand new camper and a new-to-us truck to pull it, but she never got to camp in it. To anyone reading this, I would like you to know that life insurance is important. I paid $35 a month for each of us since we married. It was enough money then to pay for everything we had, but we built a house 2 years ago, so now it helps me keep the house with a smaller payment. Would be selling the house for sure after everything we went through to build it if I didn't have insurance on her. We talked about getting more but never got around to it. I could have easily been debt-free, but I will still owe about $175,000 after everything is done. It was surreal to hold a $275,000 check. I would burn everything I have to get her back. Everything seems pointless when I don't have her. Story 100. Still wishing I was dead. I quit my counselor after she heard me complain for 30 minutes about how suicidal I was. She gave me a cup of water and encouraged me to go outside more. I am on my 19th medication combination that is doing nothing but probably making me worse. So yeah, not okay. Story 101. In my mid-30s, priced out of buying a house but making great money. Imagine living with your parents who think you are still 15 and give you the "as long as you live under my roof" speech. Then, not feeling comfortable bringing your dates by because of your living situation. Story 102. We are all fine, thank you. We were born fine too. I am not sure why females keep asking. We do not have any problems that we cannot fix ourselves. Story 103. I am under a lot of pressure and it honestly can be crushing. No one cares because I hide it well. I know I can win this battle. Story 104. Honestly, this site is frustrating for men. This is probably the only post I saw from someone asking how men are. Story 105. I was good until Wednesday. Now I am going through the 5 stages of breakup grief. It honestly hurts really badly. 7 years, and then I am just dumped with no chance to do anything or try to work on it, just dumped. Story 106. Good. Thanks for asking. Jobs are moving forward in a good way, and I just finished an apprenticeship, so I am now a dual tradesman. I have a gopher in my lawn that is avoiding my traps, and I am about ready to call someone to flush it out. I am absolutely hating the political environment in the United States. I have a new Maine Coon kitten to help me through this. Story 107. Going to be unemployed in a year. My father has cancer. My wife cannot find work. The country is falling apart. Story 108. I'm not sure how to feel about anything anymore. I love my partner and my dogs. I know that. Much love has been continuously hard for as long as I can remember. Stay strong, gentlemen. Story 109. I feel fine, just a little tired due to the tax return season as an accountant. I have not had many ideas about what to do outside of work for the last 2 weeks, but I feel fine. The season ends in 2 weeks. Story 110. Not good. Basically the second week since my girlfriend broke up with me. The last 2 weeks have been hell. I gave her some space, let her be by herself with her kids, thinking maybe she would miss me. We had rough patches before, but after 2 days of silence, either one of us reached out gently and things went on. Last time she texted on the second day that she missed our texts throughout the day. This time it's really hard. I still saw her every day. I dropped by and checked on her. The last time I saw her was Tuesday. I thought 3 days of no contact would help clear her mind and mine. I wrote her a 10-page letter, trying to explain and apologize. I dropped it off an hour ago. She looked rough, red eyes moody. Maybe she was crying. I wonder if something happened or if she cried because of us. I just said hi, gave her the envelope and said goodbye. I don't know what's going to happen next, but I feel awful right now. I miss her dearly. Story 111. Tired and burnt out from people who come to the hospital claiming they have cancer or an advanced disease like lupus nephritis or kidney failure, when all they have is ringworm and some gas. Basically tired of people who use the internet as their doctor when they do not know what they have or what they should search for. There are at least 1 to 2 cases like these every day on good days. Story 112. Not the greatest, I'm feeling empty. I lost my father a couple of days ago. I'm numb and can't feel much. I never thought I would lose a parent at a young age. It's the weirdest feeling ever. Part of me knows he is not suffering anymore and that he is with his loved ones. It's just a crazy feeling. Story 113. I feel like I'm exhausting myself trying to be a man who can financially support my family without detracting from my wife's independence and professional dreams, can protect and defend my family without displaying anger, and can give grace to those who wrong me because I don't understand their story. Works in a profession where I studied to help people and advise them on how to best improve their health while respecting the patient's choices, even when another high school graduate parent explains why vaccines are terrible. Navigates a world where I support everyone's individual opinions and choices, but do not feel responsible for advocating for them. Basically, the world is challenging, and I wish we could return to days with less technology, less global interaction, and more local community engagement. Story 114. Interestingly, I got all the things I wanted: money, house, freedom, and a good career. However, I am now in my early 40s, and much of the magic I used to feel in life and the things I used to get excited about are no longer there. Story 115. I am a straight white male. No one caring is the best case scenario. I feel hated most of the time, but I am happy, and that is the best revenge, I suppose. Story 116. Tinnitus is an unrelenting condition. On the other hand, children are great and happy, and that is really all that matters. Story 117. Not great. I lost my wife last year and have been trying to get an attention deficit hyperactivity disorder diagnosis because my life is collapsing around me as a result. I am trying to find a route back to work as a coder, having been my wife's carer for 15 years. I am also trying to improve my health and fitness so I feel better about myself. All of this while dealing with a lot of legal matters for my mother who has dementia, since the rest of my family is basically gone. I have no one in my life, so I am very lonely. Story 118. Hoping things get better soon as I am starting a new job on Monday after almost a year of unemployment. The problem is once I finally get paid, all of that check will go toward debt, credit cards, child support, and money I borrowed from my family. But things are at least moving forward, so the outlook is better than it has been in a very long time. Story 119. Good. The only thing I need is money. Except for this, I have everything: friends, family, job, and house. Story 120. Holding on. I work a lot on the swing shift. When I'm not working, I'm running around driving my kids to their sporting events and managing the to-do list around my house. I am so exhausted from being there for everyone else that I have no time or energy left for myself or my own hobbies. The government is tearing this world apart. People are becoming very rude at an alarming rate. I am seriously considering going no contact with my father after he ambushed me with his political beliefs at my nephew's 3rd birthday party. However, a job I really want will be available within the year that would give me much more time at home and normal hours. How are you? Story 121. Great. On holiday with my family, and when I am back, I am going to a concert with my best friend in London. I love my family and friends. Story 122. After being alone for as long as I have, I've taken a lot of pleasure in being unknown to the world. It's easier to be liked if they don't know you. It works for me. My ex checks in from time to time. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. My sister cries over the phone about how her mother-in-law treats her. I'm happy to be there for her, and I'm not one to make my problems anyone else's. Doing that pushes people away. I've come to learn. My hair is falling out, so now I wear hats. No big deal. I'm content with the amount of sex I've had. I don't like that they were all one-time encounters, nothing more. Just people looking for a cheap substitute for love, and I'm not falling for it again. No more alcohol, no more drugs, a healthy amount of self-care, and making stupid jokes for 10 or more likes on the internet. Now, here I am, riding around in a dinged-up hatchback, drinking Coca-Cola and driving faster than I should. I'm not happy, but I'm not sad, so I see it as a win. Story 123. Genuinely doing everything I can to hold it together. If it were not for my mother, I would probably end it all. Story 124. We will live our lives not appreciated by anyone, and then we will die forgotten. More men will take our place and repeat the same cycle. I wish there would come a world where men are appreciated and loved. I want to be born into a world like that in my next life, or at least as a praying mantis. If you know what I mean. Story 125. I have been driving 70 miles to work for 3 years since my grandmother died and have not had time to mourn her passing. Story 126. I am so sick of hypocritical support for pro-authoritarian nonsense, of people repeating talking points made up by others, and of conspiracy theories becoming mainstream. If Killface from Frisky Dingo were running on a platform of rocketing Earth directly into the sun, at this point, I would vote for him. Story 127. Working hard and getting nowhere. The grass is always greener. Women cannot stay loyal to save their life. Spiraling into insanity. But I am supposed to man up and keep my head above water when everyone and everything is trying to drown me. Otherwise, great. Story 128. Horrible, but it has nothing to do with being a man. It is more related to my disability and lack of job at the moment. Story 129. Too much pressure for a 21-year-old man to handle. No job, no income, nothing. He has to listen to complaints from almost every family member. Story 130. My wife told me she wants a divorce last week. She had breast augmentation surgery yesterday, which makes it sting even more. The worst part is she was a good wife, and I did not do enough to keep her. Story 131. I am moving back into my mother's unrenovated basement after leaving my wife of 4 years for cheating on me. I am broken to pieces. She keeps the friend group and the house, and I get to start at $3,000 in debt after having $20,000 in the bank a couple of years ago. She receives an echo chamber of positivity for her actions and a new boyfriend. I get nothing. I am removing everything I purchased from the house today, about an hour from now. Story 132. I feel something hurting inside the middle of my heart. Not physically, but emotionally. Maybe I manage too much workload and I really can't manage it. I have even hurt my girlfriend too much because of this feeling. I really can't manage. Story 133. Average quality. Always some responsibilities around the corner and an endless to-do list. Sometimes I wish to just be left alone for a few days. Story 134. I am very stressed. I am deployed to the Middle East, stuck between two countries throwing things at each other, with a president who cannot clearly state if we are getting involved or not. I think this is the end of my military service for my own sanity and the benefit of my wife. But I do not know what comes next, and that terrifies me. Story 135. Anxious. Excited. Waiting. I ordered a new power supply unit, And since the last piece of my favorite graphics processing unit was destroyed during transport, the store took the liability and issued a refund. My second best choice is en route. With my luck, nothing is certain yet. So anxious. Story 136. Surviving. Fighting. Pushing. Continuing. Hurting, very lonely. Not hopeless, but close. It is not about what I am going to do. I am losing hope that others will make good choices. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.